What is chaos? In physics, we define chaos as the property of a complex system whose behavior is so unpredictable as to appear random, owing to great sensitivity to small changes and conditions. Of course, in Greek mythology, chaos is the goddess of emptiness and confusion who gave birth to the universe. So see, organized chaos. Incredible, isn't it? And sometimes chaos could be synonymous of void and emptiness, as she's the goddess of emptiness, and she will give birth. And what about of decentralization and governance of an activity or organization controlled by several local offices or dedicated authorities rather than one single point of control? The transfer of control of an activity or organization to several local offices or authority or sovereign institution rather than this one single central plan authority will give birth to more autonomy that will enhance creativity and to solutions more tailored to the community and even scale it to the entire region or world surrounding it by collaboration. So how this apply to our field of business agility, and how Scrum really helps us navigate the VUCA, the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity, and the ambiguity, using these fundamentals of understanding chaos, understanding these laws of physics, a bit of mythology for consciousness, and how decentralization might be one of your best choice. So we are going to talk about it and a lot of things to talk today on this Friday, October the 8th with your coach AF. I'm glad to be with you again. So stay there and we'll be back soon. Yes, beautiful human being out there, how are you today? Episode 39 of the Friday Live Agile. This might become also a Dare Real Agile podcast for my runner, my jogger out there. 4,095 subscribers across Spotify, Apple Music, the newbies. I don't know if the newbies Amazon Prime podcast give me some extra, but we are also on Deezer, SoundCloud, everywhere. I saw that sometimes I receive some kind of spam emails about it. So, and today it's podcast day. So cheers to every podcaster, every influencer, every vlogger out there. And I would like to thank the 11 new subscriber on my YouTube channel. Yes, guys. And just do a tour, like I always do at the beginning. So by thanking you, I'm really glad. So this YouTube channel is very growing. So I don't know how I will be able to walk that talk in term of having how could I say that? Because for those who follow me, and I know because I receive those emails, and they ask me when are you going to be really live on DLive and Flow, the decentralized platform, and so on. So I said, like, yes. Well, the thing is, there's the reality, the objective reality, and there's what we'd like to do as we preach by what we actually act upon what we preach. So of course it's still in a project, but right now I lost my web designer. He's going his own way, doing other stuff. So I'm kind of becoming again a solopreneur and ramping up again. So I might take more time to actually do what I wanted to do because my first priority is my client, so if your client are your priority, so you serve your client and they They're the one who give me the availability of doing this passion thing beside my work. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that's why I'm free, because I think I provide a nice experience and professional services. So that being said, I'd like to today. The title is something like what I titled it again. It's about agility in terms of chaos. So to explain it, today is going to be kind of a small little webinar. We have about an hour because I promised one of my colleagues, Francophone, very nice guys, Olivier and Maurice. They celebrate their 100 podcast. That's called in French Go Pirate. It's almost the same in English, except that they tweak the pirate things with they change the I for a Y. Because they would like to put you in fire. Like, here at the Agile Lounge for Business Agility, we spark you. Then they innate your ID to get a lot smarter of what you do. And so I'm going to be joining them into their Zoom live to celebrate this 100 podcast. This is amazing. I don't know me if I do it like every week, the Friday Live Agile vlogcast. This is not a podcast. This is a vlogcast. Live on LinkedIn every Friday at 12 noon Eastern. Same on my YouTube growing channel that I said again. I'm very thankful of the new 11 subscriber. And I thank Tara, Austin, and other for your tips. Because yes, you could still, as I'm doing it voluntarily, if you'd like to help me cut the expense and having more tool, better tool to actually do that mission. So simply give me whatever you want. You could do it through Bitcoin, PayPal, and for the Canadian, you could send me e-transfer via Interact. It's automatic. So all the links are in the description below, as well as your discovery call. It's completely free of charge, no engagement, that we could actually, there's two types of calls. There's a calls of my broader brand and project, including the FLEP program for entrepreneur. And you have also, of course, the business agility consulting, Scrum training, Scrum coaching, if you are an organization that want to transform and to have better ways of delivering meaningful value. So those calls are free. It's just to discover together how I could help you with this amazing innovation way of producing. Because, even if the manifesto has 20 years old, we'll see what I mean by this. So today we're gonna dive into kind of a questioning together. When a lot of senior real Scrum people, real Agile people, such as my great colleague Michael Orman, Daniel Mizik, that were part of these Their Real Agile podcasts, explaining you a lot of things from the Stacy diagram of where we sit in the complexity. And this week it happened. Like, I had another subject suggested by one of my follower. So we'll come back with it probably next Friday or a couple of Fridays. But when I saw that Facebook was down for about like 6 hours, and apparently it was a DNS attack. Myself, I had some problem last week after the migration of my website with the name server, and I'm also in discussion with future partner about tier 1, tier 2 type of thing. And of course, I'm really implicated in the Bitcoin movement. Should I say the blockchain technology kind of protocol movement? So even if I'm not a technologue myself, I'm more like a designer and a customer experience type of manager. This is my background, creating the best experience for everyone, anywhere, in any industry and circumstances. This is why I had business and event producing and so on. So, but I still understand, and with my background and my study and physics, I also understand Substantion. So I talked a lot about this, and you see today, this agility in time of chaos will be a kind of introduction towards also giving some Friday Live Agile explanation on the power of Substantion, the power of Enterprise Scrum, the power of real scaling if you need to. Otherwise, you don't scale. And we're going to explain why, because Substantion, decentralization, distributed network are some part of it. So without further ado, let me share the screen, and I'm still learning these systems, so please bear with me. So the first thing I think that I'd like to remind our audience is this VUCA. When we talked about chaos, and please in the comment below tell me if you have another definition of VUCA. But what I discovered lately from a great author that I love to follow, John Mertz, I know it's dated from 2014, but the thing, guys, is sometimes, we could talk and have opinion and stuff, but the most important thing will actually be to have access to information, renew it, rethink it. That's good. But even if it's about like 7 years old, I still think it's relevant, especially for coaches out there that want to understand what is VUCA. So it's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Okay? And at the Agile Lounge for Business Agility, we propose you the VUCA Pro. The VUCA Pro is what? It's transforming the volatility into having a clear vision. Also understand each other within the team, within the organization. This is the real scale of human behavior and working in togetherness. And of course, the complexity, we're going to propose the creativity and great communication to make it happen. And the ambiguity, of course, you transform it into a more kind of agility. You use agility to confront VUCA. You don't adapt to VUCA. You actually try to destroy it by making something smarter and better for your teams. So the story begins in 1990. So what I like from John Mertz here is the fact that he suggests us not to be a VUCA leaders, because that's the thing. A lot of people will think all the lean and scrum system within the kind of agility culture, and they will say, oh, let's just adapt because Agile proposed us to adapt. I said, no, it's the flexibility of going beyond the VUCA. So when he says think about the VUCA things, and he created this kind of great quadrant matrix that I love, and I use sometimes in my training for executive or manager to become leaders with a conscious leadership type of program that I have here. So it's really important, and this is why it's in controversy with all of these safe space. So when we talked about open space agility, it's not about safe space, because at some point, if you're in front of chaos, in front of complexity, and you want to resolve it, you should not bring a system that will complexify it. So as a leader and leading through this VUCA time, you have to be direct in complex situation with a lot of transparency and information, communicate and receive it will gain mutual trust and collaborative effort. Do you think our government and the Western world, especially with the pandemic we are in, are doing this? Are they direct in that sense in front of this complex situation? I don't think so. Then, of course, be understandable. This is why I think I created by heart that I transformed the uncertainty into understand each other, because we have to be understandable of ambiguous situation. The clarity and purpose, the direction and responsibility, yes, that will empower others. All right. And of course, be reliable in volatile situation. If you really want to build a team, how do you follow through on what it says? So you agree on a plan. It's only continuous planning with agility, but it will give you the ability to be reliable to others and accelerate the positive momentum of having some victory. Okay, so it's all about speaking and listening. Be direct and be reliable. It's about speaking and listening. And you have the other exchange of philosophy and values with, of course, the what is said is what I do. So walk the talk. It's there. And be trustworthy, of course, in uncertain situation. So you have to invite people, to invest in people, to trust people that you hire for specific skills. You keep the team engaged and involved with the decision rights. Teach by the open leadership networks and the 8 patterns of open business agility over with my great friend and fellow enterprise scrummer, Daniel Mizik. So you see, guys, I start with that because when we talked about like leadership in business agility and governance, you have to understand that most of the time we are in front of this VUCA thing, the chaos right now. Whether it was there before COVID, by the way. COVID, it's sometimes seen as an accelerator of this kind of chaos and so on. And of course, yes, let's go to this survey. I don't know if I did the survey here. Is there? We are going to see the final survey. Oh, I should have choose it here. Sorry about that. Let's go see the survey on LinkedIn, because yes, guys, those who follow me, especially on LinkedIn, every Tuesday AM and before noon, I will post a survey that kind of announce the tone of the show, and I'd like to have your feedback. So only 4, it's amazing. Again, 75 to, no, it's 82 people who went on the post, and only 4 vote. And distributed, okay, because I asked, okay, let me show it to you if I can. This is, I hope I'm going to have the right one. Yes, I do. So you see this on the LinkedIn. So this is my LinkedIn page. So I asked people, how should our data be managed with upcoming digital identity? So that was a kind of, yeah, because we could talk about it, because this is a subject actually that will have to come back to my subscriber, Leon. Leon, you want to talk about digital identity with business agility. So we're going to do a topic on this with his question. So only 4 votes. So one person votes centralized. Well, we'll explain, and maybe she or he changed his mind. Distributed 2 people. And no one chooses centralized, which is okay. So these 4 people are, I don't know. And there's other ways comment. I don't see any comment here. If I go to the original, oh yes. So we have a comment, a very long comment. So I will let you guys go to my Melon page, not my Melon page, my LinkedIn page, and see about it. It looks like it's very insightful. Oh, so I don't know, Charles, if you're joining us here. And again, LinkedIn is beta, so I won't see the chat right away from my Melon app, but we'll see. But meanwhile, Zuckerberg is arguably centralized, but yet divided between many spheres. Okay. There is no ultimate answer. Of course, there's never ultimate in anything, but you'll see that Substantion with decentralized component, the way I'm going to explain it, using the law of physics and the law of networking, machine and robotic applied to human interaction, is always a better way in governance and also into security. So that's make me want to come to you with this other beautiful triangle that's part of my thumbnail, right? So let's go right there on my Decker card. Do you see, guys, my Decker card here? So the first thing I'd like to show you to explain the importance of decentralized or at least distributed network. This is from Zuko, and we'll get to him very soon to explain where I'm inspiring myself about this triangle of the Zuko's triangle and system security. You have to be human meaningful, you have to be decentralized, and you have to be secure. So to understand this a little bit better, let's go to Mr. Zuko. I hope you learned something. So Zuko Wilcox Horn, all right, he's my age. He's born in 74 in Phoenix, Arizona, probably my next home, by the way, if I move within the next 2 years. And he's known for the titleless authority files, the famous TOLAFC, secure, decentralized, fault-tolerant file systems. Okay, it was released under the GPL. which is, it was back in the day, the free software. There are for the freedom of the internet and the networking. When I'm talking about networking here, of course, I'm talking about like peer-to-peer kind of things. So he's an hacker, he's a cyberpunk, and so on. So he is the one who actually created this this triangle here, okay, that I showed you before. And let me show it to you directly from Wikipedia. So Zuko explained that there's a trilemma, three properties that are generally considered desirable for names the network protocol. So this is why we come to the fact that it has to be human meaningful. What does that mean, human meaningful? It's mean that it's meaningful and memorable. It's low entropy in names. Keep it simple, like Agile is teaching you, and provide to the users. Okay, so that's one thing. It has to be secure, because the amount of damage a malicious entity can inflict on the system should be as low as possible. And this is why we're going to see very soon why we propose a more distributed, decentralized network, and also in governance and building wonderful winning team. We need that too. And of course, the decentralized aspect is names correctly resolve to their respective entities without the use of a central authority or services. And let me show you here a graph that will make it very visual for you, if I could find it again. No, sorry about this. I have to go back to my Dicker. So we're here. Yeah, here. So you see, when you look at the dots, look at the big dot and look at the small dots and the link, okay? So in the centralized systems, whatever the system is it network, software, cloud computing, organization, team, delegation, anything. So you have a central power, who central plan, who control everything. They want to know everything. Is the all-seeing eye. And you have all these linked to you or to another machine or to whatsoever. So a lot of people will say like, oh, if we have a problem here, we could cut the line. Yes, that's the thing. But no hackers or no, and all the server are not like this. So of course, I'm not going to do a system, an administration, infrastructure, and architecture system course here. I'm not qualified for that anyway. I'm just an Agile coach. I'm just a Scrum Master. But so far, what I understand of my great friends who work in the field, it's not cutting the line. We'll see in the distributed network, you could play. This is why they put an N that actually used to play with the configuration of the network and all the interlink. Okay, and you see here, even in this example of distributed network, they show actually it's all kind of small centralized that could be. So with redundancies, you probably hear about this. So most of us in North America are using this. So it's small centralized component and so on. But anyways, when there's an issue on the centralized systems, it usually attacks the central point. Okay, the same with an empire or a government that is too centralized. You attack the central point, and all the rest who are dependent on it fall down. So let's say here it was Facebook, here it was WhatsApp, here it was Instagram, here it was Oculus. So they attacked the server, this one down, everything else was down. Let's say if this was Facebook, this was Instagram, this was WhatsApp, this will be down with all the feature of the component of Facebook. All right, so we're here now. See what I mean? And this is why sometimes when you build an infrastructure, but I will say like this. When you build an infrastructure. Sorry about that. I need to check because someone was telling me in the chat that they didn't hear me. So I just confirmed that my sound is on, my friend. So probably check your speaker. Sorry about this interruption. So as I said, everything you could apply to a machine or to an infrastructure and technology, you could apply it into governance and into team to actually celebrate the making of a product or the making of a deliverable, meaningful delivery to your customer. Okay, because if you have team decentralized, focusing on a specific product goal or services goal, they will achieve something greater. And you see, they are still interlinked. But that's the thing. In a decentralized systems, you could really cut the link fast and contain the hacking of the system there before it goes into the others. And of course, and this is for probably another vlogcast, the peer-to-peer power, it's what the blockchain protocol is actually creating, and that we could use also to expand beyond decentralized finance. But as you could see, the peer-to-peer is inside decentralization, because even though a lot of people will tell you that blockchain protocol is some more like a distributed network, this is far from the truth. It's decentralized within decentralization, which is even more efficient for the meaningful human interaction, the security, and of course, it has this principle of the 3LM of Zook that I showed you before, that I could show you again here. Okay? So, the matter of fact is, when people voted centralized, I'm really curious to see who is choosing centralized to manage your data and the upcoming full-on digitalization of your identity. Because if you have centralized management of your data within, could you imagine that? Like, all of the data of the, in Quebec, the health ministry will be there. So anyone could access it, because if they hack this point, this central point, that's finished. Like what happened at Desjardins 2 years ago. What happened to LinkedIn 3 months ago. They stole 82% of all the emails, because the emails were located into one server instead of having a more distributed type of things. So look at this beautiful chart from chiefmarketer.com. So if you'd like to, whoops, I'm still learning, guys. Bear with me. So yes, so here's okay. So maybe I could do this like that. You have to tell me those on the chat if I'm good or not. So anyways, so you see, I like this because we often talk about change and business agility, right? And Scrum and Agile transformation, blah blah. But have you asked yourself about, like, if we take from this human meaningful and naming the component of a network, having the network decentralized and of course secure, to have like here a capability of managing it and cutting the link into the infected part of the network. But here we talked about, you see the diagram here shows you, like, if you go there with technology, it's going to be more automated. With people, of course, we humanize the process. Scale is always attached to a kind of a centralized mindset. And agility, you see, a lot of people talked about scale agile framework. You have it wrong. This is why Mike Beadle and I and us, we said SAFe is not agile, it's not even Scrum, because SAFe is a centralized process, like LESS, by the way, and like probably this DAD thing that is very popular now in Quebec. So it's all bullshit. If you ask me, this is all bullshit. The real agility lies into decentralization here, because you focus on individual interaction, you humanize it, and the customer and context. Yes, like at the Agile Lounge for Business Agility, when we say we tailor the services we do with the hashtag no framework, you are not buying a framework. You are buying a professional services that will focus on your reality, on your customers that you maybe serve, and also internally, the way you have your development cycle, your production cycle. So I have to be in your context. It's authenticity. This is why I like these guys at chiefmarketer.com, because they actually speak my language. They speak that what we built with the next level agility, the book that I'm writing, but also my program that I offer you for coaching on demand, training on demand, because we are here, okay, at the Agile Lounge for Business Agility. We are really for a change. And we value the authenticity by people first with a lot of agility and a decentralized mindset. And all those who are using SAFe and even less, are there. You are efficient, of course. A lot of efficiency. It's global, standardized, process first, data. So it's technology and scale. Let's scale our technology and our process and our global thing. Let's be efficient. Who cares about the context of our customer? We don't care when we use SAFe. SAFe only cares about the profit and the brand and so on. Okay, like in the manifesto with the 4 values, we value what's on the left. Sorry, probably for you it's on the right, yes. Doesn't mean that efficiency and brand is not important. It's not what I'm saying. But we value innovation and authenticity more because it's driven by agility. It's technology driven by agility with locally optimized process data and tool with the creativity to confront the complexity. And it's focused on the context instead of a one-size-fits-all. But again, even if you know I'm really bold against SAFe because I don't believe this system will get you somewhere in the world of VUCA we are here right now. But again, I could understand that as myself in my professional services at Agile Lounge for Business Agility, we are focusing on individual and customers. So if I find out a customer that is more in need of a global standardized because maybe it's a multinational and they don't have choice to kind of follow these ISO type of things and stuff. So I understand that a SAFe, a DAD, or Discipline Agile, yes, DAD, and even less will be, I think, better for the context I just described. Because for me, I will always like suggest if you absolutely want to talk about framework and what is needed for you. So we can understand that at some point you have to be centralized. But you see, when we talk about their real agile, when we talk about real agility, it lays in innovation and authenticity, the real AI with decentralized factoring for people interaction with Substantion. Now, about Substantion, because a lot of people know that I often talked about it. I've been teach it in 2 spheres. When I did my bachelor in physics to prepare my master in astrophysics, and of course when I met Mike Beadle, who's been my coach in Scrum, and of course he was teaching me the enterprise Scrum. If you have to scale it, but if you don't. And Substantion is, let me see where it is here. So let's go to vocabulary.com to describe the Substantion. Very simple. And then after I'll go in terms of what we could bring from physics. And by the way, Mike Beadle, my coach, was a PhD in physics. Me, I'm a dropout. I just not even completed my master. So definition of Substantion, according to vocabulary.com, it's incorporating something under a more general category. Okay? And if we answer the key more, so it's categorization, it's classification, it's sorting. Okay? It's a basic cognitive process of arranging into classes or category. And as a noun, also, it could be a premise of syllogism that contains the minor term inside. It's like the Marushka. If you want to have an image, it's really a Marushka. And it's all about the premise of the minor premise. Okay? It's a type of assumption. It's a statement that assumed to be true and from which a conclusion could be drawn. So it's very a creative mode in that sense. So that's a kind of a very holistic definition of Substantion. But when we'd like to apply this, okay, let's go to what Wikipedia have to say about it now. And I'm explaining it to you because other people wrote me, you often talked about Substantion. And again, when I'm going to do my Enterprise Scrum presentation for Business Agility, we're going to talk about the Mike's Beadle work and even the enhancement from other people, including me. But Substantion architecture, probably those of you out there who work into system administration and enterprise architecture, because here's the thing. The first user of Scrum, Mike Beadle and what is his name? Samuel Lukabi, were actually enterprise architect type of thing, and they understand the power of Scrum with the self-organized, and self-organized tend to have autonomous people, very powerful mind people who could actually prevent you. So, and now with the all of these fourth industrial revolution that a lot of our leader push forward, and with this digital identity that push forward. See this show this Friday as an introduction to 3 more shows. One on digital identity, and the Zuko, and we're going to go on this show further with Zuko Wilcox, and also the Enterprise Scrum for Resist Agility show that's coming, as well as everything behavior based. Okay, that's coming with bio-digital convergence, whether you like it or not. You're gonna have to make choice on to another scale, but you'll see. And all this linked to agility, because again, and I'm in full length with the radical management father Steve Denning on it. In the next 10 years, if you're not agile in terms of real mindset, you'll be nothing as an organization, as a company. You will fail, you will not thrive, you will not do nothing. So substantial architecture is a reactive robotic architecture. And as I said, that was developed in the 80s and 90s and evolved in the real-time AI right now, using it as a big learning systems. And if you'd like to read more about it, it was introduced by Rooney Brooks and colleagues and back in 1986. So this is the root of everything Substantion used into robotic, artificial intelligence, data mining, data storage, control systems, and body agents, and steadiness of a network. Okay, so I invite you, I'm sparking you right now to go there, guys. That's you're going to learn a lot of things, and you will be able to make up your mind. And I think Charles Letourneau on my LinkedIn was quite right. I asked the question, and not a lot of people answer, and those who answer, and also I salute Emmanuel, one of my followers, who actually questioned the fact that I was not clear on my question. So I take it as a retrospective, and starting next Tuesday, I will try to have really more precise question, but I like to push it in the air like this, just to invite you to my show on Friday, and to have a discussion and the chat here with you at the end of the show or at the mid of the show. All right. So that's the purpose. So, but I understand that maybe a subject like this, especially after a Monday of crackdown for a lot of poor people addicted and dependent on the fake book. So I was not that clear, and data management for digital identity. But again, if you're a zebra out there, an HPI like me, this is why I kind of play with a little bit with my friend Emmanuel, because I know he's a very, very smart guy, and he should have read in between the line and so on. So, but anyways, so far, only 4 people voted. Maybe it's my mistake. Maybe I have to do something about having like 2,200 followers, a lot of views, but not a lot of engagement. So I'm going to have to tune my behavior about it, not just in terms of content, but also the way I approach it. And as I'm going back to a solopreneur, I still have a kind of someone who helped me with the administration, but no more with marketing. So that's why you're going to see less of me online, because I will concentrate on that Friday Live Agile and my podcast, They're Real Agile. I don't have time to post anything to entice and to create a lead generation, neither on LinkedIn and Instagram. And anyway, more we're going, more I'm going to use only the combination of LinkedIn, Twitter, and the YouTube, the growing YouTube channel that, again, I thank you and welcome the new 11 subscribers since last week. And I thank so much, people, for your tips. Again, all the links are in the description below if you'd like to send me a little PayPal, a little something, because you appreciate and you learn something with me. So now, for the last part of the show, I'd like to address you. I'd like to show you a couple of decentralized and distributed systems. It's always nice to talk about it, to propose that value, but how it is possible for an agile coach like me, working with people who would like to actually apply it within their organization or within their teams. So what I like to do now is going to my deck of image and picture, because So as you could see here, I think everybody understood now that the real agility lies for real change or real transformation of your organization, whether it's the pillar of technology, the pillar of process, and the pillar of course, people, putting people first. So you're going to humanize your organization. You're going to humanize your team collaboration. You will engage with decision rights, a more authentic type. Because remember what we say with Mr. Hertz? Let's go back there. He says, like, you have to be direct. Being direct will bring more authenticity. Doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful with your team player. But I think you get the picture. Now, one thing I'd like to show you here is this Stacy diagram, Strategic Management for Organizational Dynamic by Ralph D. Stacy. And this is, I learned a lot also with Mike, with Mr. Brampton, and lately I'm going to learn it more with Daniel Mizik, because I'm going to take, this is my goal for improvement this year, to have the Open Business Agility 8 patterns, and how we could coach better the manager to become leader, and use so you see, I like this one more than some others. Of course, if you Google Stacy diagram, you're gonna have a lot of things. But what I like from them, I cannot say the name. I think it was made by AgileToolNotFool.com or .org. This is where I took that picture. It's not me. I didn't build it, but they adapted. I think it's Agile Fool 2, something like this. But anyways, as you can see, like, agility in terms of chaos is not the sweet spot. The sweet spot of agility, it's in complex things with people involved. Okay, if you are really into an organization or a culture or a market, everything is simple. It's close to certainty. It's close to agreement. So everybody is agreeing in your team, organization. Everything that you do is certain and clear net. There's no VUCA there. You don't want, and I will never consult you to be or use Agile or Scrum or Lean or whatever. Keep it like you do. You're green. Everything is smooth. Everything is fine. Everybody is happy. Why disturbing you? You have explicit agreement, and everything is certain, and it's predictable. As an Agile coach, I won't take your contract. Or maybe I could give you the on-demand next level Agile program to give you some little things to improve within your team and organization. But if you're there, you don't have to use any Agile culture or approach, because it's very popular. Okay. Complicated. This is where people will fall with a kind of a safe approach or less approach, and do the pick and choose, as the state of agility showing us year after year, that people use only, let's say, the retrospective, the product review, the backlog, but they don't use the interiority of the Scrum system adapted to them. They don't even know the 4 values and the 12 principles and how it could help them make better decisions and be more certain. So this is for the big scale organization that just do anything, hashtag not my Agile. But again, it could be true that you could you could build like a project management office with kind of Agile and Lean section into it, to go task force and to the more complex things to deliver value according to your mission and stuff. But of course, more you are going to be far away the explicit agreement, and you put into it toxic politics and so on, and you create unpredictability. You cannot see. You have, maybe your leaders will do a 5-year plan or what have you, but you don't see it. You don't have the vision. It's like I explained last week in French. Is Scrum Agile or not? Of course, it's not. Where you engage people, you hire people, but you don't let them actually help you being more predictable and so on. And far from certainty, which means that the technology is so new, you have so much thing to test, your product is completely out of balance. That's some kind of what we experience right now with Pfizer and Moderna, I will say that much. So we are far from certainty, it's really unpredictable, and it's chaotic, and they think that they will embark people into it. Wow. But I'm still amazed that actually a lot of people, especially in Quebec, we talked apparently of 80% who have taken this medical procedure with far from certainty, it's far to be predictable, and I don't see any explicit agreement within the collectivity. A lot of people take it because they are forced or bullied to it. And in the same way, you never force agility. So Stacy diagram, it's a good way. Start saying that the sweet spot for agility, it's where things are complex. We talk about your technological, your software code, the interaction between people, there's a lot of politics, a lot of things. So yeah, Agile will be great there because it's there to help you transform your organization to be more into a simple ways. Okay, this is why Jim Highsmith, again, I repeat it, he says like, if you like to be agile, keep it simple. Okay, because you are not there to adapt to the complexity or to the uncertainty. You are there to create, to be closer to certainty, to have an agreement, and to be more and more predictable. This is why I like the Kanban flow, because as long as your team works in DevOps with Kanban flow, they are becoming more and more predictable. Same with Scrum cycle that we call sprint. Sprint after sprint, they improve, and they're getting more predictable, and they could manage to spin around within 2 to 3 weeks to a month maximum to save you a lot of money, to be more meaningful. What else I'd like to show you here? Yeah, of course. Oh yes, one of the, this is also an introduction, because when we talk about centralized systems and payment, the blockchain distributed ledger, so this is why people are confused. This is a pure peer-to-peer, decentralized, safe and secure and meaningful to human type of thing. So, but that again, we are in introduction today, talking about agility and chaos, and all business agility could actually be spread with these aspects of decentralization and the power that will bring you to more autonomy and to a safer environment, both in governance, technology, and human interaction. So this is why, again, we could see centralized between decentralized. So you cut the link that's no good for you. Here you are forced to deal with a bank, and the bank are forced to deal with a central bank. So again, so you see centralized network, the central bank are here. It's that traditional way of doing things is the safe way to do things, but the real safe and secure things to do things is the peer-to-peer model of the blockchain protocol, where everything is really private, everything is very secure, and you have the full power on it. So, and the show we're going to do, the Crypto Agile number 4, we're going to do about the decentralization and independence. We'll be able to dig further into this, and of course with your emails you send me, with or without your tips, I'm always glad to read it and to push it into my show. And if you'd like to have more information about the peer-to-peer model within the distributed and decentralized way of the blockchain protocol, you could go at theblockpro.com. And of course, this is, Jesus Christ, I don't have the name again, because I like to, to cheer up where I am taking it from. So I'm sorry about it, guys. I don't remember. Is it Ramen Picture? No, it's not Ramen Picture. Do I still have it open? No, I don't have it open. So I'm sorry about this. It's not my drawing. It's been built by, I think it's Ramen Picture, or it's another group to explain the role of an Agile Coach and Scrum Master. That person, or any, and this could be a show by itself, to show you like a lot of big organization. They will build a center of expertise and agility or community of practice. Which one do you think? Tell me in the comment below. Which one between the CEO, the community of expertise or community of practice, COE or COP, is which one is centralized and decentralized? Because when you look at the dynamic of an agile coach and scrum master, that I remind you guys, is or she is the same person. According, if you do something more lean and use the scrum system, of course the coach is a scrum master. But if you use any other type of whatever framework, and the agile way of developing your software or building your enterprise, you will prefer the title of an agile coach, but there's no hierarchy in it. But this is all the duty that those coach should facilitate you. They will help facilitate the change with the people and culture department, and the way the work could also apply if the technology changes, the USDLC change, a new type of programming or software programming or anything, including the human factor. They will also be there to facilitate a lot on the team dynamics. They will facilitate meetings, not just the 4 ceremony and Scrum, but anything else. So a Scrum Master and a coach, let's say a coach, those both are for me a coach, they have to be decentralized. They have to be in a decentralized mindset, because their duty as a process protector, process driver, they have to know all of these things. It's a little bit like with my X-Wing diagram from Mike Bolton that explained the duty, responsibility of a coach. It's all that. So you have to have a decentralized mindset, because if you start to be centralized, that will be more a project manager, or actually the product owner might be more centralized in a sense, because if you want to do not good, but great Scrum, okay, if you'd like to do great Scrum, so then in that case, you better, how could I say that? Yes, you better be in a mindset of having like one specialist that knows his product, all right? And by knowing his product, you have one backlog. So this is probably one of the centralized part that could bring you efficiency. But again, that product owner might split into a decentralized product owner workforce to help you build better, okay? So far, I think I showed you every aspect of centralized versus decentralized, including the role of a coach within your organization, where you are going to have a dynamic of decentralized thing. On a daily basis, the Scrum Master or the coach will actually do a lot of things. And yes, that's it. So I hope you learned something, as usual. I hope this presentation of agility in time of chaos, and let me finish with this one. Because really the Stacy is the base for the human interaction and the substantion, okay, to help you design and create. And I will even say co-creating, because you need collaboration to do this. You don't do it alone. It's not a stand-alone type of project. So again, put people first. Try to be agile in the sense that have things simple into your process, to engage with decision rights and explicit agreement, to be closer to certainty. As we all know, there's no perfection in this world. And again, go over chiefmartech.com, and use this great quadrant diagram of change. And as I said, the things at the right is what Agile Lounge for Business Agility and yours truly will value more: authenticity and innovation with decentralized agility, on top of saying that efficiency and brand is important, but you have to understand that it's not the only thing. We have to embrace the 4 aspects here. But if you'd like to go fast in the market and if you'd like to thrive, you will have to focus more and value more the people in your organization more than technology, because it's people who are skilled in technology. And because you'll be agile and you will have winning decentralized team that could show other to scale it better. Okay, so that was agility in time of chaos. Introduction for 3 upcoming shows, one on the blockchain protocol, one on enterprise Scrum for business agility, and one with a digital identity, and how do we really protect and how do we really apply distributed or decentralized network to have a safer, autonomous way of exchanging and doing things, and also preserve our identity instead of having it into the one end of a government organization or agency or big corporation. That I don't think it's good. I think that if we'd like to go more digital, we'll have to create a digital twin of us. And it's not a creation of separation, it's a creation of intimacy. Okay, it's nothing to add. It's about having intimacy. It's about not being thief. Because when LinkedIn 3 months ago as his database told, you start receiving emails for phishing and so on. So that's not really safe. So thank you very much for watching. Remember, people, you are beautiful, you are powerful, and you are free to be whoever you want. So give me a like, share it to anyone. And if you dislike this video, tell me in the comment below. I'm eager to improve. So on that was episode 38. And I will wait for you next Friday, 12 noon Eastern, 11 Central. Have a beautiful long weekend. Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy. Cheers.